What a way to start. Alright. We green? Yep, we green. Alright, so we gotta fix a portion of one of the chapters we worked on yesterday because 1, background noise, 2, the writing was off. So I went through the writing and I fixed it today. Hopefully that helps to fix a lot of problems with it. So this is going to be a portion of a chapter. So we have to fix the problems first, the mistakes and stuff like that. So hopefully it's not too bad. She stood at the gateway to a tattered and scorned land of debris that once housed hundreds of innocent people. Hello, Izzy. A look of confusion was plastered on her face, but it quickly dwindled to one of absolute horror at the realization of what the state of the village implied. Alright. Oh, it's a line, right?
No! Yunha!
There we go. Alright, we're just gonna leave that. Her young self shouted as she started to run into the village and look through the ruins. She lifted countless boards, shouted her friend's name hundreds of times, prayed that she wasn't too late. But all of her efforts and hopes descended to nothing upon... Yep, that's correct. But all of her efforts and hopes descended to nothing upon lifting a large piece of debris and finding the motionless corpse of the friend she had accidentally made years ago. Alright. The adolescent couldn't speak or think at all and just fell to her knees in tears, staining the bloody clothing that adorned Yunha's body in absolute sorrow and disbelief. Okay. Staining the bloody clothing that adorned Yunha's body in tears. Nope, that's too close. Okay, I need to just go something like this. Very carefully. Let's go something like this. See if that might work. The adolescent couldn't speak or think at all and just fell to her knees in tears, staining the bloody clothing that adorned Yunha's body in absolute sorrow and disbelief. Pull that back. Her knees in tears, staining the bloody clothing that adorned Yunha's body in absolute sorrow and disbelief. She collapsed onto her friend's corpse. No. She collapsed onto her friend's husk and cried for hours, up until she exhausted herself and fell asleep. Okay. When she finally opened her eyes, her own clothes were stained with Yunha's crimson life supply, and she's as silent as a mouse scouring a house at night. In other words, her will and soul are broken, and all that remained was rage. The adolescent rose to her feet and started looking around for a specific thing, finding what she needed quickly. The remains of a broken arrow that had clarified who had attacked and murdered her best friend. Okay. Oh. I'll turn that down just in case. Shouting.
I won't let your death be pointless, Yunha. These bastards are going to pay the price. Death be pointless, Yunha.
No.
These bastards are going to pay the price.
Trust me, if my gain was up, that would be bringing some ears right there.
There we go. Maybe a little more than that.
Okay, let's pull this back a little bit more.
From there, the memory shifted to Ganyu taking pursuit on her targets, having found them not too far from the village. Rage engulfed her young self like a volcano on the verge of erupting as she approached and readied herself to exact all hell on those in her crosshairs. Oh. Who is the one that killed her?
Did I retake that?
She demanded.
Okay, I didn't.
The thugs all jumped at the sudden.
It's alright.
She demanded. The thug. Who is the one that killed her? She demanded. The thugs all jumped at the sudden intrusion, thinking that she had been an unfortunate damsel that could be easily subdued.
Hold this back.
Well, well, and what do we have here? Spoke the member that was likely the leader. A little lamb that's been separated from her herd? Or a harlot looking for some action? The group chuckled at the mocking, but Ganyu wasn't even fazed. Gripping her bow. The group chuckled at the mocking, but Ganyu wasn't even fazed. Gripping her bow as tightly as possible. Ah, I see. You're one of those quiet types. The leader continued to mock. Well, unless you've got something to say, I suggest you get lost, little girl. Ganyu hadn't even shifted, anger leading her to the next action that she was sure to anger leading her to the next action that was sure to show anger leading her to the next action that was sure to show that she wasn't playing around.
Okay, let's pull that back a little bit more.
I won't ask again, she demanded, having drawn up her bow and arrow and aimed it straight at the center point of the leader's forehead. Which of you killed the little girl with short black hair?
Nope, that was not severe enough.
Which of you killed the little girl with short black hair? There we go, there's a lot more anger in that. Gotta wait for that shit to shut the fuck up. Read up. Now the group of thugs were in a state of defense, having jumped in surprise at their easy prey taking the offensive.
Equalization. Yeah, we're just fixing a chapter because it wasn't in the right tense and it just sounded bad. So I needed to fix it.
Surprise at their easy prey taking the offensive. Surprise at their easy prey taking the offensive.
That's fine.
Oh, this is a shout. Who the hell do you think you are, princess? The leader exclaimed. Oh.
I think it's a little too low.
The leader exclaimed.
Let's see if this might work.
Who the hell do you think you are, princess?
I'll have to probably up that a little bit. It's probably a good idea. Let's go about 3.
Who the hell do you think you are, princess?
There we go. Much better.
The leader exclaimed. Do you even know who we are? We're the Xiaomei clan, and we don't care about anything but the sweet sensation of collecting the rarest treasures this world has to offer. We don't back down from anything. Not even prissy little spitfires like you.
God, I love voicing out assholes, don't I? Alright, let's do that.
Do you even know who we are? We're the Xiaomei clan, and we don't care about anything but the sweet sensation of collecting the rarest treasures this world has to offer. We don't back down from anything. Not even prissy little spitfires like you. There we go.
Alright, about right there.
The armed Ganyu was nearing the end of her patience, having grown tired of the thug treating her as if she were no more than a bug to a human. Therefore, she had given him a clear message that would prove that he had messed with the wrong person. "You're disgusting," she had stated coldly, having followed with releasing her arrow and inflicting her target with a shot to the shoulder. The monster had had no time.
Okay, let me get that out. Just so that the noise gate doesn't capture that. Okay, pull that back a little bit.
The monster had had no time to react, the sudden infliction of pain causing him to fall back to the ground. By the time it had taken him to recover, Ganyu already had had another shot prepared, having eyed her.
Stop! Come on, you son of a bitch. Knock it off.
Her prey with pure rage and murderous intent.
Stop!
The monster had had no time to.
God, that's annoying.
Back to the ground. By the time it had taken him to recover, Ganyu already had had another shot prepared, having eyed her prey with pure rage.
Okay, pull that back.
Ganyu already had had another shot prepared, having eyed. Ganyu already had had another shot prepared.
A little bit of a plosive. Oh wait, no. I'm on the wrong setting. I need this one.
Had another shot prepared, having eyed her prey with pure rage and murderous intent.
Okay.
"You dumb bitch! Kill her!"
Oh yeah, that'll definitely hurt your eardrums. This can go up. This can definitely go up, but that, no. Hell no. I've been R-worded several times, and I don't want to deal with it again.
"You dumb bitch! Kill her!"
That's a little rough on my eardrums, so let's take it down about a notch. Amplify -2. See if that might work. Computer, just behave, please and thank you. Quit being a fucking dick. You know what? I can't close that. Damn it. Wait, why are there... Oh. Alright, we're saving after this, because I'm not dealing with this horse shit. Two fucking day. Enough! Piece of fucking shit.
"You dumb bitch! Kill her!"
Much better. Alright. Save before something happens. Fuck you. You can kiss my ass.
He commanded, having directed his cohorts to her with the intention to end her life. However, Ganyu had seen that move coming and was prepared. She started to fire arrows at a rapid speed, each shot having hit and dropped every intended target. The thugs.
Don't even fucking start, Audacity.
The thugs fell like flies, and their leader had come to full realization that this strange girl that had come to his camp in the dead of night was on the prowl for vengeance. Blood stained the ground, and the fuck?
Oh, it's just the wind.
Don't mind.
I'm not playing.
Blood stained the ground, and the sounds of his fellow thieves were all that had filled the ambience of the night. He had tried to get up and run, but Ganyu had pinned him with more arrows. But Ganyu had pinned him.
That's a little bit more of a plosive, yeah. For sure.
Had pinned.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now they isolate it. No. On the wrong effect again. There you go.
But Ganyu had pinned him with more arrows. She had pierced his spine and severed his spinal cord, having made him nothing more than a useless bag of bones anymore. With all of his men dead, the thug had been met with his worst nightmare in the faint. No, the thug had been met with his first. No, the thug had been met with his worst nightmare in the faint light that the campfire provided for his current. No. The thug had been met with his worst nightmare in the faint light that the campfire provided to his current position. He was done for, and upon the sight of his predator's approach, he had begged for mercy.
What am I doing? Just silence it.
Done for, and upon the sight of his predator's approach, he had begged for mercy.
I think we can get rid of some of that. Yeah, get rid of that. That was the wind against the house.
Predator's approach, he had begged for mercy. Oh, this is a plead.
Oh my god.
Don't even fucking start.
What the fuck is that?
Okay. Please, I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you spare me. I swear.
I was right here, right? Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
It looks a lot like it. That's why I assumed.
I swear. Please. Please.
That's a little bit of a plosive. Let's get that out.
Please.
Why didn't you work? You stupid piece of shit. Control R.
Please. I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you spare me. I swear. Please. I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you spare me. I swear.
Yep, gotta get that crap out. See if that helps a little bit.
Please. I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you spare me. I swear.
That is a little teensy bit loud. So let's lower that a little bit. Hello, Geronimo. Hello, Tsukishima. I need to amplify those down. See if that might work.
Please. I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you spare me. I swear.
Much better. So the story is we're working on like a chapter that we did yesterday, but it's a portion of the chapter because 1, background noise. 2, the writing was out of whack. I wrote it in the wrong tense, so yeah, I had to go and fix that. Not that big of a deal. It's just a small portion, not the whole thing.
Please, I'm sorry for what I did. I'll give you anything you want if you.
All right.
Ganyu hadn't even been fazed by his pleas.
Okay, pull that back.
Ganyu hadn't even been fazed by his pleas, having kneeled down to give him the last sight of anything he'd ever see.
Okay, pull that back.
Having kneeled down to give him the last sight of anything he'd ever see. Oh.
Okay, pull that back.
Shut your damn mouth! She demanded.
Is that bad?
Mouth! Mouth!
Nah, it's only in the yellow.
She demanded. You took my friend's life without any remorse or guilt. So why should I spare you of what you deserve?
It's a little too
He
low.
had no answer, only fear and terror.
Trust me, if that were at 100%, it would be peaking. This was like kind of doing Reborn all over again. Oh my god, that was such a fun fic to redo. Let's do 2. That might help.
You took my friend's life without any remorse or guilt. So why should I spare you of what you deserve?
Much better.
We're
not worried about the spacing and all that shit right now. We're just getting the mistakes out.
He had no answer, only fear and terror. He had no way out of this. That little girl pleaded for your mercy in her last moments. She begged you for her life to not be taken, so you have no right for you to beg for mine.
Wait.
So you have no right to beg for mine. All you have the...
I'm just going to do this because I like the first take better.
She begged you for her life to not be taken. She begged you for her life to not be taken. So you have no right to beg for mine. All you have the right for is for me to give you exactly what you gave her before you killed her.
Okay. I have to manually take that little peek out because that's going to not be good for the ears. Amplify, -3. Let's see if that helps a little bit. That might help a little bit. What is this?
Holy shit.
Ah, it's just me swearing. Yeah, it's just me. Alright, amplify +3. Shut up, I don't care.
That little girl.
Okay, so that's nice.
That little girl pleaded for your mercy in her last moments. She begged you for her life to not be taken. So you have no right.
Voice acting's fun, guys. Voice acting's fun. Let's go 2 more. Okay, so you have no right.
That little girl pleaded for your mercy in her last moments. She begged you for her life to not be taken.
Let me see if I can get that plosive out.
She begged you for her life to not be taken. So you have no right to beg for mine.
That's nice.
All you have the right for is for me to give you exactly what you gave her before you killed her.
Now let's lower this one again. -3. It's just 1 peak.
To give you exactly what you gave her before you killed her. To give you exactly what you gave her before you killed her.
Okay, that'll work.
Holy shit.
No. When you're into the war or into the scene, you don't really care about like plosive and stuff like that.
Nothing had come from the killer's mouth, only sweat from his pores and tears from his eyes. Ganyu had him beyond scared straight, and had been too Ganyu had him beyond scared straight, and had been too petrified at her presence to have even...
That is a plosive. Okay, let's get rid of that. That was a little rough on my ears.
And had been too petrified at her presence to have even muttered a single word. No. Ganyu had had enough of playing with her prey, moving to finish her vengeance for Yunha in the best way she felt necessary. She had picked him up from the ground and dragged him back to the outer edge of the dragged him back to the outer edge of the campfire. To the outer edge of the
Okay, I need to find where it says and. Right here? No, right here.
And dragged him back to the outer edge of the And dragged him back to the outer edge of the campfire.
Much better.
She stopped to perform one last thing before finishing her work, forcing his gaze to meet hers as a grim farewell. Forcing his gaze to meet hers as a grim farewell. As a grim farewell.
That's fine.
Forcing his gaze to meet her. Remember me. Remember me. And remember me well. Remember me. And remember me well. As the one who gave you what you earned. As the one who gave you what you earned. Never forget my face. As you burn to... As the one who gave you what you earned. Never forget my face. As you burn to nothing but ash in the pits of hell. Into the pits of hell. In the pits of hell. But ash in the pits of hell. Into the pits of...
Pits right there. I see it.
To the pit.
Yep, that's it. Alright, so I can push up these ones just a little bit. Maybe go about maybe 2 with the amplification. About right there. Let's see if that might work.
Remember me. And remember me well.
No.
As the one who gave...
Okay, do that again.
Remember me. And remember me well. As the one who gave you what you earned. Never forget my face. As you burn to nothing. One who gave you what you earned. Never forget my face.
Much better.
As you burn to nothing but ash into the pits of hell.
There we go.
Holy guacamole. She finished her exclamation by tossing him into the flames. Having listened with pure justice as the... She finished her exclamation by tossing him into the flames. Having listened with pure justice as the fire began to embrace and... Listened with pure justice as the fire began to embrace and burn his flesh to...
No, I'm on the wrong one. Right? Yeah. Q, boom. Boom, boom, boom.
Listened with pure justice as the fire began to embrace and burn his flesh to charred ash. At first, his screams had made her feel satisfied and relieved, but those emotions quickly shifted to a feeling of distress and guilt. Her work had already done her prey in by the time the reality of what she had done had hit her like the impact of an atomic bomb. She had killed someone. She was no better than the very thugs that had coldly taken Yunha's life. She was a murderer. No, she was a murderer, and it was far...
Pull that back.
She was a murderer, and it was far too late to undo the damage she had done. She felt sick to her stomach, falling to her knees and beginning to cry at the horde. She felt sick to her stomach, falling to her knees and beginning to cry at the horrid realization of what she had just done out of the sole purpose of vengeance and anger.
Okay, I need to save.
This wasn't who she was, but her hands were stained with the blood of the lifeless bodies surrounding her, her arrows having taken their lives. It was painful for Ganyu to relive this moment.
Hold on. Oh, I retook this anyways. Let me push this back just a little bit more. Right there, I'd say.
In their lives. It was painful for Ganyu to relive this moment of regret in her life. Having clenched... It was painful.
Okay, there we go.
It was painful for Ganyu to relive this moment of regret in her life. Having clenched her chest in pain at the fact that this was something that she had done. She couldn't deny or run away from it, only accept that she had taken all of those lives that night. Then the scene changed, a tall and clearly unique individual having walked up to her. A tall and clearly unique individual having walked up to her.
Pull that back.
A tall and clearly unique individual having walked up to her. Ganyu knew exactly who he was. Ganyu knew exactly who he was, and just how vital this very moment in her life had...
About right there somewhere. Oh. Whoops. Alright, let's try that again.
Ganyu knew exactly who he was, and just how vital this very moment in her life had been to become who she was now. Dear child of mine, why are you crying? They asked. Young Ganyu had jumped at the sudden intrusion, having expected this to be the punishment for what she had committed. Jesus. But please...
Okay. Oh, Jesus, man, I turned this down way too low.
But please... Oh, I lost my place. But please... No. But please... I only wanted to do what I thought was right. No. I only wanted to do what I thought was right.
Hold that back.
But please... I only wanted to do what I thought was right. No. I only wanted to do what I thought was right.
There we go. Alright, push this up. Plus 3. But right there, I'd say.
Please! I only wanted to do what I thought was right.
I'll take it up about 2 more.
Please! I only wanted to do what I thought was right.
Okay, I need to get the rest of that breath out.
Please! I only wanted to do what I... Please! I only wanted to do...
Okay, which part is the I?
Oh,
right there. So that's just a breath. Okay, let's cut that out.
Please! I only wanted to do what I thought was right.
Yep, get that out. All right there, I'd say.
Please! I only wanted to do what I thought was right. She begged. She begged desperately. Please.
Okay.
Please, don't sentence me to damnation. I'm truly sorry for what I did.
No.
Please. No. Please. No. Please, don't sentence me to damnation. I'm truly sorry for what I did.
And this is basically how Ganyu would respond to something like this. Because, especially as a young, person. Like an adolescent that just killed, probably 20 people.
Please, don't sentence me to damnation. I'm truly sorry for what I did.
Okay. So 3 and 4, about 5? I think it's about 5. Oh, jeez. Maybe a little less than that.
Please.
Yes. It is. 4.
Please, don't sentence me to damnation. I'm truly sorry for what I did.
Equalization. Man, a lot of freaking plosives today.
Please, don't sentence me to damnation. I'm truly sorry for what I did.
Okay. That'll have to work. Young one, I am no deliverer of damnation. Young one, I am no deliverer of damnation. The stranger clarified. The case of vengeance is always the most difficult to discern as a proper reason to take one's life. And, while what you did was rightfully earned on his end, it also wasn't the proper way to exact vengeance. However, what I know prevents you from damnation is the fact that you have shown regret in doing so, something that he and his gang didn't show in their actions of savagery. The words touched Ganyu in a way that gave her
Pull that back.
The words touched Ganyu in a way that gave her relief, having turned her gaze to her new company to see them properly. She still sniffled and wiped tears from her eyes, having tried her best to get a hold of herself. However, the stranger had beat her to the punch. Pull
that back.
However, the stranger had beat her to the punch. I've seen you and who you truly are. No. I've seen you and who you really are, Ganyu.
Pull that back.
I've seen you and who you really are, Ganyu, and know very well that you are not someone who would kill without reason. Your soul is gentle and kind, but every being in this world has a dark side to them that they sometimes lose control of. It is a part of living, and you lost control over yourself because you are simply part human. Ganyu was dumbfounded. He knew her name and the very truth about her identity. He knew her name and the truth about her identity of being only half human.
Pull that back.
He knew her name and the truth about her identity of being only half human. Something she had never told anyone besides her adoptive mother.
I'm sorry, sir, but how do you know so much? But how do you know? God fucking damn it. I'm sorry, sir, but how do you know so much?
I kept wanting to say, how do you know so much about me, but it's not the line.
But...
Oh. So that's gotta be right here, right?
I'm sorry, sir, but how do you know me so well?
That was the line.
She questioned.
The figure reached out a hand to help her up from the ground, to which Ganyu hesitated to accept, but eventually took it. On her feet, she just eyed the man with curiosity and slight fear, his eyes glowing like golden embers from underneath the hood that adorned his head.
Wait, what?
Because I know embers from underneath the hood that adorned his head. Because I know all of my children, Ganyu. He answered. You were born in the peaks of serenity, and are the result of your mother, Rajora, engaging with a human man out of non-consensual means. I've watched you grow and train with Cloud Retainer on Mount Outshang, and know that you've endured a great amount of tragedy and loss in your life.
I also know that you are currently in a state of confusion in your life of who you really think you are. And I can assure you that there's nothing abnormal about that. You are unique. You are unique. And uniqueness comes with conflict. You are unique. And uniqueness comes with conflict and debation of one's identity. However, I can assure you that you are far from a cold... However, I can assure you that you are far from a cold...
Bring that back.
However, I can assure you that you are far from a cold-blooded killer, and that your friend holds nothing against you for what you did. She...
Hold that back. I'm gonna save just in case.
For what you did. She'd still want to be your friend, and look at you as the same person if she were here with us.
Okay.
A calmness blanketed Ganyu's soul, having felt not so guilty about her bloody act anymore. This person made her feel
Really?
less anxious or hesitant about the things she had questioned in the past. Specifically, her identity as a half adeptus. She made her feel less anxious. Okay.
Okay, let me double check that.
A calmness blanketed Ganyu's soul, having felt not so guilty about her bloody act anymore. This person made her feel less anxious or hesitant about the things she had questioned. And
That's why I get those out, because when I do the EQ and I have to boost the bass, it becomes a problem.
this person made her feel less anxious or hesitant. This person made her feel less anxious or hesitant about the things she had questioned in the past. Specifically, her identity as a half adeptus. She made her feel less anxious. Okay. However, she couldn't find it in her...
Right there.
However, she couldn't find it in her heart to forgive herself for her actions, seeing she had killed all of those thugs. She had no excuses.
Alright.
I appreciate your sympathy and advice, but... No.
Hold that back.
I appreciate your sympathy and advice, sir, but... Appreciate your...
That's fine.
Appreciate your sympathy and advice, sir, but... I won't lie to myself that what I've done to avenge Yunha wasn't an act of savagery with unnecessary choices made.
Yep, get that out.
Lie to myself that what I've done to avenge Yunha wasn't an act of savagery with unnecessary choices made. She confessed. I must live with what I've done as a reminder to never allow myself to go that far again, and hope that I can make up for it in some way throughout the remainder of my life. And hope that I can make up for it in some way throughout the remainder of my life.
Yep, get that out.
And hope that I can make up for it in some way throughout the remainder of my life. The stranger nodded, surprising Ganyu that he actually was on the same page with her. Surprising Ganyu that he actually...
Yep, just making sure I'm on the right line.
Surprising Ganyu that he actually was on the same page as her. You are a delicate one, Ganyu. They complimented. You are wise and mature for such a young age. You are wise and mature for such a young age. And if that's the way you see as the only way to earn forgiveness from yourself...
Hold on.
You are wise and mature for such a young...
No.
You are wise and mature for such a young age. And if that's the way you see as the only way to earn forgiveness from yourself, then you are already healing. In fact, I might have a way for you to find the answer you seek. In fact, I might have a way for you to...
This was a fucking bitch of a line. So we're just gonna skip past all those blunders.
I might have a way for you to find the answer you seek.
Huh? Huh? What do you mean? Huh? What do you mean?
Ganyu questioned. As I said before, I am not a deliverer of damnation.
Huh? I like that one better. Huh? What do you mean?
Ganyu questioned. As I said before, I am not a deliverer of damnation, but I am a dealer of contracts. Therefore, I have an offer for you, Ganyu. A contract that will help you not only overcome your act tonight, but will also allow you to become more confident in who you truly are in this world. Ganyu hesitated at the offer. She was intrigued, but needed to know the full details of said contract before making any decisions she may not be able to take back.
What would I need to do? Nope, we're not getting that in there. I know you're in there. Right there. That little thing. Get that out of there.
Take back.
What would I need to do?
She questioned. It's quite simple, but there's something you must know first. A war is approaching between the gods of this world. One that will likely take a long time to conclude. One that will likely take a long time to conclude and will lead to the deaths of thousands. Oh, for fuck's sake! Where am I? A war is approaching
A war is approaching. Okay. That's why I wanted to wait on that.
A war is approaching between the gods. A war is approaching.
That is definitely a plosive, but right here somewhere.
A war is approaching.
Right there.
A war is approaching between the gods of this world. One that will likely take a long time to conclude and will lead to the deaths of thousands. I'm asking you to fight by my side and do all you possibly can to protect the people of Liyue. In return, your sins will be forgiven, and you will find peace with yourself when the time comes. Ganyu paused and thought hard about the proposition. It seemed like a fair deal, but the fact that thousands would die made her shiver. Could she handle losing another friend to war?
What you're asking of me? Oh, thanks for the donation, Mark. It's one of my mods, I think. Yeah, mod. What? And one of my best friends as well. What you're asking of me? What you're asking of me may be something I cannot handle. Okay, bring that back. Maybe. Audacity, why? Why? Just behave, please, and thank you. What you're asking of me may be something I cannot handle.
She explained.
That's good enough. One death led me to this. No, one death led me to this. Bring that back. Could you stop being a fucking cunt, you son of a bitch? One death led me to this. Well, we're gonna fix that because I'm saving. One death led me to this. So what if I lost another friend on the battlefield?
The man nodded his head, solving the issue with the burning question of who he really was.
Bring that back.
Solving the issue with the burning question of who he really was. As gentle as a Chilin's soul, so is their heart.
Yep, get that out of there. Because that's disgusting. The sound of my Mark,
As,
a little too late.
as gentle as a Chilin's soul, so is their heart. Therefore, I'm willing to teach you things you would need to survive in the years that this war.
Therefore, I'm willing. Yeah, I remember I had to take this again. That looks right. I think that's a therefore because of the peak.
I'm willing to teach you things that you would need to survive in the years that this war will bring. They will leave scars. They will leave scars and trauma.
Reading that back. Please stop. Fucking piece of shit audacity.
They will leave scars and trauma. But in the end, I will guide you to the peace you seek.
There we go.
You'd have my word and full wisdom as the god of contracts.
Dun dun dun.
Ganyu's eyes bulged instantly. She knew full well who this proposers of deals was.
Who this proposers of deal was?
She knew full well who this proposer of deals was.
And I still got a plosive, so I gotta take that out. She knew full well. So about right here somewhere. Oh shit, wrong button. I need to do this button. Come on, brain, work with me.
She knew full well who this proposer of deals was.
Much better.
And knew that everything he was saying would be fulfilled if she agreed. She didn't say anything for a long minute, only thinking over everything she'd been offered, up until she finally made her choice.
There we go.
I will fight with you as the price of redemption for my sins, Rex Lapis.
There we go. Alright, just get rid of that. Okay. Okay, now that's taken care of. So now we just need to copy this, and we need to import the other track. Audio. Yep, that's it. Bam. Computer does not want to behave today. Just load already, my god. TBOIAL chapter 26 clean. We need the clean file. Do I have to really capitalize this shit? Chapter 26. We need that one. Everything else should be good. This was just the one that I need to fix. Just waiting for it to load. Then I gotta find the right spot in the file, and then we can start working on some new stuff. How long did that actually take me? I'd guess about an hour and a half. If I had to take a wild guess. No, not even an hour yet. Okay, nice. Alright, just gonna wait for that to load in, and then we'll get to her. Yeah, it's gonna take a second. Oh, shit. There we go. Okay, where would that be?
I'd still want to be your friend and look at you as the same person.
Okay, well, there's Zhongli. So now I gotta figure out where it all starts.
When she finally awakens, her own
Okay, right there.
mama. But in the
No!
end, I will guide you to the...
Okay, before that, gotta mute this so I don't get confused.
Go, Ganyu!
Okay, there's that. Hello? Just work, please, and thank you. Don't make me get fucking mad for no goddamn reason! Piece of fucking shit.
However, something strange happened instead. The thugs turning their focus away from Majora.
Okay, we're still in the past area.
She had wanted to run out and find Ganyu.
Okay, after this. Something like this.
The day
Aha! Okay, is this it?
a much older Ganyu was standing at the gateway.
Yep. Alright, now I just gotta figure out where everything ends. Okay, so let me get a paper or something and write that down real quick. 1739. .672. Okay, now we gotta find the end. Fuck this fucking program, I swear. It's not the program, it's the freaking computer.
Dear child.
Okay, so here's where Zhongli begins. Come on.
You are a delicate...
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. That looks like it right there.
I will fight with you.
Yep, right there. Okay. So now I need to move this. Let's see, we need 1, 7, 3, 9, 6, 7, 2. Close enough. All right, Control V. Hopefully that's correct. It should be.
She stood at the gateway to a tattered and scorned land of debris that once housed hundreds of innocent people. A look of confusion was plastered on her face, but it quickly dwindled to one of absolute horror at the realization of what the state of the village implied. No! No! Yuna! There we go.
Yep, I think that's correct. And if not, we can always play with it later. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, file. Oh, hang on. We gotta get rid of this track first. Okay, file. Save. And now we just export this. I think it might be a little too loud, but that's okay. We can always toy with that later on. It's not that big of a deal. Clean. Oh. Clean. I fucking swear. Clean fixed. Okay. There we go. Don't do that again. Alright, that's going to take a minute. So while that's doing its thing, I'm going to get some coffee. Uh-oh. Guys. Stop. Piece of fucking shit. Sorry, guys. I'll be right back. Yeah, that's way too high. Right about there. You gotta go elsewhere. How about right there? Sure. Alright, I can't see chat right now because this notification is in the way. Alright. Alright. Alright, looks like we exported okay. Alright, good. Good. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to go to my drive. Why is my bitrate such bullshit? Leave me alone, please. Our internet's been acting up all over the place, so it's alright. As long as I'm seeable and it's okay, that's all I care about. Alright. Let's see. We need to go to recent. And we need to go... maybe. If it'll let me. If it'll let me. See, we don't need to keep this clean file in here, so we can just get rid of it. Plus, it saves space on my drive. The only problem is it literally goes to the trash, and then I have to manually delete it. That's the only thing I hate about Google Drive. You have to come in here, and you have to manually delete it. Like, seriously, if I want to get rid of something, I want to get rid of something. So, let me get rid of it. That's all I ask. Alright, let's see what we got here. Hopefully it's enough space. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're good. We're good. Might have to delete some other files, though. I already know. Shut up. Alright, let's go. File upload. Two files that I'm not getting rid of are the raw ones because I need those. Oh my god, you are going slower than fuck today. You can't already need an update, can you? Alright, let's see. We need... 26 today. Oh, you are pushing your luck today. That's the one. Some of the shit I have to go through for this shit. I swear. Okay. Done. We're getting quite close though, so we need to be careful. I've still got how many more chapters to do? 2 more, right? Yeah. And one of them is long and one of them is short, I think. Yeah, I think so. Why can't I think? Okay, hang on, I gotta think here. 25, okay. So are we at in this chapter? We were at... Why can I not think right now? This is driving me crazy. Okay, that was the trial thing. to the peaks, the trial. Then there was the encounter, and then there's the last one, which is when they go back to Mondstadt. Okay. We'll see where we're at. Alright, I can just get rid of this now. Now let's import and do some stuff. Yay, we're to new stuff. We're progressing, guys. We're progressing. Maybe chapter 27. Rah. Maybe. How long was this chapter? It's long, but not necessarily too long. That's what she said. Shut up. Hot. So let's just wait for this to load in, which is probably going to take a minute. Okay. Doesn't say Mark streaming, so he must be at work. Either that or just being lazy. Interesting. If you're in chat, Mark, I'm giving you shit. It's not serious, bud. Just giving you shit. Alright, let's see. Alright, just let it load in. Don't remember this one being too long. Oh, Jesus, that volume. Just because it's compiled into one. Alright, where are we starting?
2 weeks had passed in a flash.
Oh. Just make sure I'm not missing anything important.
Alright. Starting recording for...
No. Okay, so just get rid of all this. Like this. 5 around 6 about right there. Alright, let's do this.
2 weeks had passed in a flash, and in that time...
Hang on.
2 weeks had passed in a...
Ah! We're already starting with the freaking plosive. About right there. EQ. Alright. No. What the? Okay. Yeah, my computer is starting to go really slow.
2 weeks had passed in a flash, and in that time of training with training with Verjora, Ganyu had become much stronger and wiser about her new self. Her spiritual connection to the Qilin god that had granted her new strength and new abilities had grown much stronger. No. Her spiritual connection to the Qilin god that had granted her new strength and abilities had grown much stronger, and now she could perform adeptal arts that would aid her. And now she could perform adeptal arts that would aid both herself and Kuching on the battlefield.
Okay, hang on. I heard a plosive.
And now she could perform adeptal arts that would aid both herself and Kuching on the battlefield. Aid both her.
That, I think I just put too much emphasis on the H. Yeah.
Arts that would aid both herself and Kuching on the battlefield. However, they were still exhilarating to her body's energy, so she could only use these arts sparingly.
Pull that back.
So she could only use these arts sparingly.
All right. Pull that back.
Ganyu had no problem with that, seeing she was more comfortable using her bow over godly magic, but still took...
Stop. Alright. Let's save, just to be very careful.
seeing she was more comfortable using her bow over godly magic, but still took the proper training to use her new skills effectively. They would surely come in handy when the time came to confront and They would surely come in handy when the time came to confront and end the Tsaritsa once and for all, but that day was yet to come, and their side of the battlefield currently had the advantage. Therefore, she didn't have to think about the day of Tevat's fate for a while, and could take a moment to breathe and spend precious time with her beloved. Take a moment to breathe and spend precious time with her beloved. Over the 2 weeks away from Kuchink, Ganyu had longed to see and feel her beloved's arms around her, but her mother had managed to comfort her in her grief.
Okay.
The two had shared many great stories in that.
My God.
The two had shared many great stories in time back together as mother and daughter in their time. I messed up. The two had shared many great stories in their time back together as mother and daughter, having even taken the hike up Mount Hulao to rekindle old memories from a having even taken the hike up Mount Hulao to rekindle old memories from a time long past. Ganyu still had a hard time believing that she'd somehow found her mother after thousands of years, feeling almost as if their reunion had been poetically foretold by whomever paved the
You got a sock missing somewhere.
Okay. Feeling as if their reunion had been poetically foretold by whomever paved the paths of fate and destiny. But the truth was that she had found and whomever
Control-R. Don't even fucking start.
told by whomever paved the paths of fate and destiny. But the truth was that she had found and would never abandon her again. That was a promise, up until the day her ancient heart stopped beating, and she had fulfilled the contract she'd made with Morax all those centuries ago.
One thing I actually want to check real quick is just to see if that file export correctly, because if something went wrong, because when my computer needs an update, which it might need, it tends to malfunction. So I want to be absolutely fucking sure. Poor audio. I just want to be absolutely sure, because this happened with Discord stall way back when. It's also happened with a few other audio files. Clean fixed. That's the one. And I can't see it visually in Google Drive, so I have to do it this way. So I want to check that before I get too deep into it. Because you never fucking know. Especially when you're someone like me who hasn't gotten on the computer in quite a while. Like, rarely I ever touch this computer unless it's work related. Anything else is always on my phone. Alright, so let's just see if this is okay, because I don't want to have to re-record shit. I'm at a point where I can just back up and re-export it if I need to. Just gonna take a minute to load. Okay. Well, so far so good. I don't see anything abnormal, which is a good sign. That's what you want to see. Yeah, no abnormal peaks, which is a good sign. I just pray to God that everything went fine, because I really do not want to do that again. That would kind of suck. Nope, everything looks good. Nothing abnormal. Okay, we have a win. Thank God. Alright, back to work.
Told by whomever paved the paths of fate and destiny. But the truth was that she had found and would never abandon her again. That was a promise, up until the day her ancient heart stopped beating, and she had fulfilled the contract she'd made with Morax all those centuries ago.
Alright.
Okay.
Pull it back.
However, while Bajora was a caring and gentle mother, she was much stern and strict as a mentor. However, it was because of that reason that Ganyu had achieved so much in little time, and that was something she could only thank her mother for. Just making sure. However, there was one thing she had requested her mother to do, seeing one of the features of her new form had become nothing more than a nuisance. That request had been to shorten the length of her horns, even if it would likely be an unpleasant process. The weight of her new appendages had made her balance waver.
The weight of her new appendages. I heard a plosive in there, but right here it looks like.
Weight of her new
Nope, right there.
The weight of her new appendages had made her balance waver like a stone sinking in a body of water, and that was nothing but a weakness to her in her eyes. So she had decided to bear the discomfort to assure her battle etiquette unhindered. Despite Bajora.
Wait. This is 27. Unhindered. To assure her battle etiquette unhindered.
So she had decided to bear the discomfort to assure her battle etiquette unhindered.
That's right.
Despite Bajora warning her that filing her horns back to their original length would be.
Keep in mind, this is like someone taking a file to your nerves, essentially. It's torture.
Despite Bajora warning her that filing her horns back to their original length would be. Despite Bajora warning her that filing her horns back to their original length would be the equivalent of antagonizing every nerve in her body, she still went through with it. As expected, Ganyu had squirmed and squealed during the entire procedure, the filing tool feeling like her body was being consistently struck by lightning. However, she'd powered through with.
That's why Ganyu doesn't like people touching her horns, because they're sensitive.
However, she'd powered through the grueling.
Oh, Jesus.
However, she'd powered through the grueling 2 hours, and as a way to calm her frenzied nerves, had soaked herself in a nearby spring. The coolness of the water had acted as a soothing.
Okay, bring that back.
Had soaked herself in a nearby spring.
Full Pulls back more.
The coolness of the water had acted as a soothing agent instantaneously upon descending her entire.
Hang on. I gotta zoom in for this. Yeah, that's about right, I'd say. That looks about right.
Upon descending her entire bare body beneath the surface. She had a no agent instantaneously upon descending her entire bare agent.
Okay, hang on. Let's go like this. Do something like that.
Agent instantaneously upon descending her entire bare body beneath the surface. Agent instantaneously upon descending her entire bare body beneath the surface.
Okay, that sounds kind of off. Let's see if that might work.
Instantaneously upon descending her entire bare body beneath the surface.
That'll work.
She hadn't known how long she'd been within the. She hadn't known how long she had been within only the tranquil calm of the spring's body. Only knew that when she had arisen back to reality, all of her nerves were.
Audacity! Fucking Christ. Hurry the fuck up. My God. Oh, this shit pisses me off. You're just trying to get something done and the computer says no. For no other reason than to be an asshole.
She hadn't known how long she had been within only the tranquil calm of the spring's body. Only knew that when she had arisen back to reality, all of her nerves were calmed and docile. A huge relief that had washed over her like a wave, having spent.
Get that out. Okay. I'm just making sure it worked.
Docile. A huge relief that had washed over her like a wave, having spent the rest of her private time in the cool water, reminiscing about the past and cooking.
Hang on.
Reminiscing about the past.
That is a plosive. Yep, gotta get rid of that. Control R.
Think about the past and cooking.
There we go.
Outside of training, Ganyu had fancied herself with new recipes her mother had.
Okay, bring that back.
And cooking. Outside of training, Ganyu had fancied herself with new recipes her mother had shared with her, all of them being Qilin-based dishes that she had never recalled trying in her past. It was likely due to her childish sweet tooth in her past.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was likely due to her childish sweet tooth that she had never given. It was likely due to her childish.
Bring that back. That's really hard to say. Childish sweet tooth.
It was likely due to her childish sweet tooth that she'd never given much healthier dishes a try. At the moment she had tasted the delicacies, she'd giggled at her recollection of the time. At the moment she had tasted the delicacies, she'd giggled at her healthier dishes a try. At the moment she had tasted the delicacies, she'd giggled.
Oh, too close. Let's go something like that.
At the moment she had tasted the delicacies, she'd giggled at her recollection of the times as a child when she'd refused to try anything without sweetness in its mixture of ingredients. Her mother had giggled along with her as well. No,
Back.
Her mother had giggled along with her as well, finding the entire scenario nostalgic and cute. She'd seen and lived those times all. She'd seen and lived all those times, all those. She'd seen and lived all those times, all those centuries prior, and seeing her daughter realize now that she had only been doing what was best for her back then was a moment of accomplishment. For her in the present. While Ganyu still had no interest in taking the role as a mother, nor could she produce one with Kuching as her partner, hearing stories about herself from her mother that she couldn't possibly interest in taking the role as a mother, nor could she produce one with Kuching as her partner, hearing stories about herself from her mother that she couldn't possibly remember as a toddler, had given her consideration. However, that was in the air for now, seeing the fact that Tevat was at war with the Tsaritsa was much more critical than anything else. Therefore, Ganyu had put her mind furthermore on her training up until something else had occurred to make her act otherwise. Much like what had happened to Mona prior to Mondstadt's siege against the Tsaritsa. Tsaritsa's pawns had happened to Ganyu, just not as serious or traumatizing. It had come from out of nowhere around the 13th night since her decision to remain in the Peaks of Serenity to train with her mother, and upon waking from it, Ganyu had known full well that the phenomenon she'd experienced wasn't something to ignore.
Pause.
2 weeks after Kuching's departure, Ganyu stood in a void of darkness with nothing but a mist cloaking the surface she currently stood upon.
What the fuck was that?
Ganyu stood in a void of darkness with nothing but a mist cloaking the surface she currently stood upon. At first, she had no idea what to think, having only seen something as such when she took the trial to increase her strength as a half-Qilin. The current scenario grew even more mysterious upon her seeing no way out, along with the realization that it was abnormally cold in her current environment. Excuse me.
Okay, let's... Wait, what is that?
Excuse me. Gotta let that burp subside.
Alright, there I'd say.
However, she wasn't shivering or even felt chilly in the slightest, which made her even more curious and somewhat afraid. This phenomenon was unlike anything she'd experienced in her long life. And upon collecting her emotions and thoughts on the current predicament, she knew exactly why everything about this seemed paranormal. She was dreaming, and upon collecting
No.
this seemed paranormal.
No.
She was dreaming. How she knew she was, she couldn't perceive, but she couldn't decipher any other explanation. How she knew she was, she couldn't perceive, but she couldn't decipher any other explanation. Another factor that she realized was that this dream wasn't anything alike a regular one, was something more unique. Another factor that she realized was that this dream wasn't something alike a regular one, but was something more unique.
In the back.
Another factor that she realized was that this dream wasn't something like a regular one, but was something more unique. The fact that she was fully aware unique.
Oops.
The fact that she was fully aware that she was asleep reminded her of something more unique. The fact that she was fully aware that she was asleep reminded her of when Control
R. Okay.
That she was asleep reminded her of when she had been in that trance for over a month. She'd known the entire time that she was unconscious in reality. She'd known the entire time that she was unconscious in reality, and had gone through a whole journey of discovering more about herself, her past, and things she'd have to do in reality to become even stronger to stand against her enemies.
Okay.
Her past, and things she'd have to do in reality to become even stronger to stand against her enemies. An epiphany of self-discovery and trials that tested all of her strengths.
Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Come on, you son of a bitch.
An epiphany of self-discovery.
Control R.
Against her enemies. An epiphany of self-discovery and trials that tested all of her strengths. This felt the exact same, but she knew it wasn't. However, what she could tell was that it was something of importance, and upon looking out from her, she saw something that she knew was critical to whatever she was exploring. After focusing more clearly on the figure, she knew exactly what she'd found. Remembering the imagery of her form in Reshev's recorded memories. Just 30 yards out from her was the monster. Just 30 yards out from her was the monster known as the Tsaritsa. She could feel her rage and chaotic flurry of emotions bursting to the surface of her soul upon the sudden realization of her and all of Tevet's enemy being straight out from her.
What the
The fuck was that? Being straight out from her. However,
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
being straight out from her. However, all of Tevet's enemy being straight out from her. However, upon a second glance, Ganyu froze in conflict, feeling as if the figure in the distance wasn't the same person as the cold-blooded goddess that feeling as if the figure in the distance wasn't the same person as the cold-blooded goddess she knew of in reality. She seemed different and carried a different.
Get that out.
She seemed different and carried a different. There was no doubt that.
Oh, shit. Maybe that one?
And carried a different.
Oh. Okay, let's load.
She seemed different and carried a different atmosphere to her person. There was no doubt it was the Cryo-Archon. Oh. There was no doubt that it was the Cryo-Archon, but this version of said goddess seemed different in both stature and appearance. Okay, that's fine. The Tsaritsa beyond the realm of her... No. The Tsaritsa beyond the realm of her dreams appeared... The Tsaritsa beyond the realm of her dreams appeared strong, independent, and intelligent. This mimic... The Tsaritsa beyond the realm of her dreams appeared strong, independent, and intelligent. This mimic gave a sense of frailty and sorrow. Ganyu glanced at the doppelganger again, and upon a more proper examination, she noticed something abnormal. She was much younger than the Cryo Goddess, and bare naked with nothing but her long snow-white hair covering her privates. And upon Goddess and bare naked with nothing but her long snow-white hair covering her privates. She was also in a fetal position and cowering from some unknown force, to which snow-white hair covering her privates. She was also in a fetal position and cowering from some white hair covering her privates. She was also in a fetal position and cowering from some unknown force, to which Ganyu knew was an. She was also in a fetal position and cowering from some unknown force, to which Ganyu knew was enough proof that whoever was sharing this space with her couldn't be the same Tsaritsa she called her greatest enemy. However, that conclusion raised more questions than answers, and upon realizing that the cowering girl wasn't who she originally thought, and upon realizing that the cowering girl
Come on.
Questions than answers, and upon realizing that the cowering girl wasn't who she'd originally thought. Questions than answers, and upon realizing that the cowering girl wasn't who she'd originally thought, a sound broke. More questions than answers, and upon realizing that the cowering girl wasn't who she'd originally thought, a sound broke the cold and dense silence. A sound broke the cold and dense silence. Do not worry. I mean no harm, and will answer all of your questions willingly.
Okay.
Her voice was a shallow whisper full of fear and truth. With her newly enhanced senses, Ganyu could tell full well that this young Tsaritsa copy wasn't trying to trick or lie to her, but she kept her guard up regardless. Who are you? Who are you? And why have you invaded my dreams? She questioned with clear authority that she wasn't some naive peasant she could easily fool. No. She questioned with clear authority that she wasn't some naive peasant she could easily fool. She questioned with clear authority that she wasn't some naive peasant she could easily fool. The young mimic shifted slightly. Yeah, it's fine. The young mimic shifted slightly, signaling to Ganyu that her company had caught her message loud and clear. The young mimic shifted slightly, signaling to Ganyu that her company had caught her message loud and clear. She spoke up again, addressing Ganyu's curiosity respectfully. The answer to your first question has already been answered, the girl answered, turning slowly to meet Ganyu face to face. Upon seeing her unannounced guest's face clearly, Ganyu felt her heart skip a beat. Down from her usually blue eyes, now clouded by a film of gray, were dried trails of tears. Down from her usually blue eyes, now clouded by a film of gray, were dried trails of tears. Her skin was cracked as if it were made of fragile glass. Her skin was cracked as if it were made of fragile glass. And where said glass had chipped away from her body were holes that radiated a fading light. She looked weak. She looked weak, and as if some unknown force were deteriorating her form entirely. Less to say, Ganyu was horrified and saddened at the sight before her. The girl didn't flinch, only continued to answer Ganyu's growing curiosity. Don't you even fucking dare. I'm gonna do that one more time. The girl didn't flinch. Yep, we're fine. It's true. Your assumption of my identity is correct. However, I must also add that you are only half right, seeing, while I am the Tsaritsa, I am only a mere fragment of the version you are familiar with. Ganyu could hardly speak, her emotions flooding her senses like a tsunami wave. Morax above, what has happened to you? The supposed Tsaritsa answered with merely a shift of her gaze to the fog-layered floor. Following with an answer that sent chills down every nerve of Ganyu's body. Too much for me to even remember. Ganyu was sold, the entire situation getting all the more strange second by second, and she wanted to figure out exactly why this had come to be in the first place. Before I explain why I am here, allow me to apologize. I would never wish to intrude anyone's psyche without consent, but I had no other choice. The girl continued. Allow me to explain, seeing you must be confused. I was given one opportunity that would likely never come again, so I had to take it to speak with you. To keep things simple, the form you are seeing me as right now is the true form of the lady you know as the Tsaritsa. The Saritsa you are familiar with is truly nothing more than a puppet that has been... The Saritsa you are familiar with is truly nothing more than a... The Saritsa you are familiar with is truly nothing more than a puppet that has been so ever since the day of her inauguration as the goddess of Cryo. Thousands of years ago, I was betrayed by someone I trusted, and the result of it is what you see before you. Okay, making sure. Where did you go, Cotton Eye Joe? I lost control of my own...
Stop.
I lost control of my own self and was locked away in the darkest recesses of my mind, left to fade away to nothing but a deteriorated soul trapped in limbo for the rest of time. For centuries, my true form has slowly been in a cycle of being wringed dry of all of her power. But due to having more power than the usual Archon,
Weird.
due to having more power than the usual Archon, the process of eventually fading, the process of eventually meeting peace has lasted for millennia. The process of eventually meeting peace has lasted for millennia. You son of a fucking bitch. Okay. As you can see, damage has been made, but my end won't likely come. For millennia. As you can see, damage has been made, but my end won't likely come for likely thousands of more years. It's happened so much that the pain has become mute, and I truly gave up on any chance of being saved. Up until an eruption in the cycle occurred that opened a window of hope. Up until an eruption in the cycle occurred that opened a window of hope.
Oh shit. No.
Up until an eruption in the cycle occurred that opened a window of hope. She shifted her gaze back. Window of hope. She shifted her gaze back to Ganyu's own, causing Ganyu to wince in surprise. She had been too interested and fixated on listening to what was turning into a horror. She had been too interested and fixated on listening to what was turning into a horrid truth to have even noticed that the frail being before her had turned her attention to her as a signal that the next part pertained to her. Ganyu just let her speak. For millennia. Ganyu just let her speak. For millennia, the me you know remained unfazed by anything up until just recently. A crack opened in her that I'd never... Faced by anything up until just recently. A crack opened in her that I'd never seen before. One that allowed me freedom from the chains I was bound to ever since that dreadful day. That crack was caused by a rift in her usually unmatched methods of strategy. In other words, you and your comrades I saw recorded within her memories caused her to finally... Are you serious right now? Caused her to finally be outmatched in the current war you are...
Oh shit.
In other words, you and your comrades I saw recorded within her memories caused her to finally be outmatched in the current war you are fighting in against her. Knowing that you and that other girl managed to break her, I knew it was my only chance to escape and tell the truth about what happened after the coronation of the current me. And what happened? Ganyu said sorrowfully. The Tsaritsa sighed heavily before continuing, implicating that whoever had betrayed her had been close to her. She was hurt badly.
Haley, I don't care.
She was hurt badly by this trusted friend or companion, and it was evident by the tone of her voice. The controller of my puppet self is the person you know. Her voice. The controller of my puppet self is the person you know as number 2, or the controller of my the controller of my puppet self is the person you know as number 2, or the doctor. She confessed, to which Ganyu gasped, knowing who the doctor was very well. Why can I not find my place? He designed the crown. He designed the crown for my coronation. But little did I know that once that very crown was placed upon my head, I'd be bound to an eternity of darkness and misery as a catalyst for another madman's goal, as a catalyst for another madman's goals for destruction. As a catalyst for another madman's goals for destruction and war. I'd been under surveillance of the doctor for thousands of years, up until you and your comrades managed to put a hole in his plans with no solution.
Stop it, Audacity. Thank you.
Up until you and your comrades managed to put a hole in his plans with no solution. The truth has been hidden away from history, all because as the Tsaritsa, oh, no, that's right. This truth has been hidden away from history, all because as the Tsaritsa, I only wanted unity for my fellow brothers and sisters. I wanted to prevent catastrophes like the Archon War. And because I was a good-hearted Archon, I was silenced and used for the opposite. Ganyu was shocked, and her heart ached for the fragment of the true Cryo Archon before her. It was horrifying and absolutely disgusting what she'd been subjected to out of nothing but the sole desire to watch the world burn. She couldn't fathom what the true Tsaritsa had gone through over those thousands of years. All because she wanted to bring peace between the Archons. All because she wanted to bring peace between the Archons. Ganyu got on her knees and approached the goddess, noticing that she'd begun to cry. To show her sympathy and assurance that she believed everything she'd told her, Ganyu wiped away the tears of the Archon with her right index finger. She was no more than a young god that had been betrayed. She was no more than a young god that had been betrayed cruelly by those she'd trusted, and Ganyu could feel her pain. All along, her enemy had been another. Feel her pain. And Ganyu could feel her pain. All along, her enemy had been another victim, and now she could see exactly why the only remnant of the true remnant of the
Fuck off.
And now she could see exactly why the true remnant of the Saritsa's true self had come to her. It wasn't just to tell her the disturbing truth, but also to show her who the true enemy was. She knew what to do now. I'm so sorry that you've had to suffer for so long, Your Majesty. I'm so sorry that you've had to suffer for so long, Your Majesty. Ganyu comforted. While the Archon War wasn't prevented, and many of the original gods are now dead, your dreams for peace among the gods can still become reality. Please, tell me how my comrades and I can stop the Doctor from accomplishing his goals. It took a second for the Saritsa to answer, composing herself well enough to give a clear answer. I appreciate your words. But even as frail as I am, I know my dreams are long gone. She answered with pride. However, while my old dreams as the Saritsa are dead, my new dream of saving my brothers and sisters from the world we call and the world we call home from extinction is very much within reach. Therefore, I will tell you everything I can to assure that the Doctor is stopped. She paused briefly to collect.
Let's just do something like that.
She paused briefly to collect her thoughts clearly, knowing this would be her only chance to relate everything to Ganyu. After a long moment of thought, she finally gave Ganyu everything she'd hoped. She finally gave Ganyu everything she'd need to hopefully end their war with the infinite. She finally gave Ganyu everything she'd need to hopefully end their war with the infamous Fatui Harbinger. Defeating number 2 will not be an easy feat. Defeating number 2 will be no easy feat.
Okay, go like that. Like that.
Defeating number 2 will be no easy feat. And to do it, you'll need more than just an army. She clarified confidently. The first thing you'll need is to break his ties with his other harbingers. And the only way to do that is to come after my doppelganger. She is currently under heavy guard of all of the Fatui harbingers in the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. She is currently under heavy guard of all of the Fatui harbingers in the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. She is currently under...
I think I said it wrong.
She is currently under heavy guard of all of the Fatui harbingers in the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. In the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny... In the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny. In the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. Minus number 2.
Okay, now I gotta figure out where that is.
Rangers in the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. In the center point of the Fatui harbingers in the center point of the Zeppel-Yarny Palace. minus number 2. Be aware that they are all completely unaware of the truth I have told you, so please do your best to convince them. If you can convince them, you can get to me, and from there, perhaps I can reclaim my life that bastard stole it. Perhaps I can reclaim my life that bastard stole from me. Perhaps I can claim my life from that bastard who stole it. Perhaps I can claim my life from that bastard who stole it. And from there, perhaps I can claim my life from that bastard who stole it. After that, all of the resources of the Tsaritsa and Fatui will be at your service to face the Doctor. Number 2 will use his clones to fool you, but the true version resides in the hidden laboratory located under Frostcap Island. Getting there will be a challenge, seeing he's prepared for any intruders by deploying fellow Fatui soldiers. As much as I wish I could save them from dying in vain, I cannot, nor do I believe they'd listen to reason. Your last challenge will be getting to the laboratory itself. The Doctor has laced the path with several traps and obstacles that won't be easy to traverse. Considering you've made it this far and are still alive, I believe you will take the proper precautions to make it there safely. As for number 2, I'm afraid I have no idea what awaits you if you reach him. He is very unpredictable and clever, so I highly doubt he'll just get on his knees and surrender. I understand, Ganyu assured, placing her right hand on the center of her chest. Whatever it takes, we will fight for your and Teyvat's freedom. Whatever it takes, we will fight for your and Teyvat's freedom, no matter the cost. I believe you, and thank you for believing in me. No matter the cost. I believe you, and thank you for believing in me, the Tsaritsa complimented. However, I do have one request of you. Shall things not go according to plan the day you infiltrate the palace? A bitter taste filled Ganyu's mouth instantly, knowing what this request implied from her years in the Archon War. What is it? Ganyu replied softly.
Hold it back.
Ganyu replied softly. A pause followed, clarifying to Ganyu that her assumption was indeed correct. If the opportunity to end the life of my reality self prevents its...
Yeah. I remember this one being a but.
If the opportunity to prevent the life of my reality self... No. Fucking kill me. If the opportunity to end the life of my reality self presents itself, do not hesitate to do it, she confirmed, sinking Ganyu's heart into the pit of her stomach. If you kill me, the doctor will have no control over... If you kill me, the doctor will have no control over the androids anymore. Nor will he have access to a god's power. Ganyu wanted to absolutely refuse, but she couldn't be selfish.
Get that out.
Ganyu wanted to absolutely refuse, but she couldn't be selfish either. She couldn't deny a victim of thousands of years of torment their freedom. Otherwise, she'd be no better than the doctor. Therefore, with a clenched fist and unadulterated conflict, she agreed to do so if the battle came down to having her do so. All right. I promise. She agreed hesitantly. The Sarita smiled, despite knowing her request had caused much anxiety and hurt for her practical savior. Thank you. I know I've put a heavy task on your shoulders, but please believe me when I say it's the best solution for the good of the world. It's my responsibility as an Archon of this world to see it survives the madness of the Doctor, and your duty as one who fights to protect it. Ganyu nodded in agreement, knowing the goddess was right. Ganyu nodded in agreement, knowing the goddess was right. The stage was set, and the target objectives were clear. The stage was set, and the target objectives were clear. So all that was left was to relay everything to her comrades back in reality. However, upon a sudden reminder of a critical factor to her whole situation in reality, Ganyu added an additional comment. I'm sorry to ask you more in your weakened state, Your Majesty, but I must know. Are the Adepti and Rex Lapis still alive and well? The Sarita winced at the question, showing she had knowledge on the topic. She sighed heavily, following with an answer that brewed mixed emotions on Ganyu's end. They are indeed alive, but much like myself, they have been forced into a They are indeed alive, but much like myself, they have been forced into a docile state by the use of devices created by Number 2. Oh, for fuck's sake! They have been forced into a docile state by the use of devices created by Number 2. But much like myself, they have been forced into a docile state by the use of devices created by Number 2. Therefore, I cannot say they are in a good state, seeing they have been drained of a great amount of their strength.
Pull that back.
Seeing they have been drained of a great amount of their strength. Ganyu felt her stomach churn, feeling sick from the cold and horrid truth of her fellow Adepti, guide in life, and adoptive mother. She needed to know where they were before their...
Come on, Audacity. You can do it, I swear.
Feeling sick from the cold and horrid truth of her fellow Adepti, guide in life, and adoptive mother. She needed to know where they were before their time eventually would run out. Oh god, this is a shout. Kind of. Please, I need to know where they are.
Did I retake that?
Please, I need to know where they are. Ganyu pleaded.
Nope.
I must save them before they are killed by the doctor's cruel tactics.
Okay, I think I can just, bring that up. Let's go 4. Then repeat this.
Please, I need to know where they are.
Ganyu pleaded. Oh. Let's push that out just a little bit more. Bring this back a little teensy bit.
Time eventually would run out. Please, I need to know where they are.
Ganyu pleaded.
I must save them before they are killed by the doctor's cruel tactics.
Let's get rid of that. The Tsaritsa nodded in agreement, but the change in expression on her face reflected nothing good, and that made Ganyu's blood turn to ice. And that made Ganyu's blood turn to ice.
They are stored in the doctor's lab where the androids are being produced and modified. They are stored in the doctor's lab where the androids are being produced and modified.
The Tsaritsa answered.
I'm very sorry that I can't give you another answer. No, I'm very sorry that I can't give you a better answer.
Pull that back.
I'm very sorry that I can't give you a better answer. But that's where they are, and it's likely he'll use them against you. Therefore, you will have to be strong when it comes to you having to decide.
Get that out.
Therefore, you will have to be strong when it comes to you having to decide what is best for the world.
Ganyu clenched her fists in frustration, knowing that the Tsaritsa was likely correct. Could she watch the godly beings she grew up with be killed in order for her to save the world? The climax to this war was going to be harder than anything she'd ever experienced in the Archon War. To save the world? The climax to this war was going to be harder than anything she'd ever experienced in the Archon War, but she held her right fist over her heart as a salute that she would do what was best for Teyvat, even if it cost her fellow Adepti's lives.
While it will be hard and devastating for me to handle, if it comes to that, I will do the right thing. I believe you.
The Tsaritsa stated.
I can tell that you've been through many hardships, but also know you have a strong heart. And will to protect those you and will but also know you have a strong heart and will to protect those you and will to protect those you love and care about.
A brief pause followed, allowing the heaviness of Ganyu's new objective to sink in and solidify. A brief pause followed, allowing the heaviness of Ganyu's new objective to sink in and solidify in her mind. After the pause, the goddess concluded their meeting with a final statement.
Light has come from beyond this realm. Therefore, our time has run out. Therefore, our time has run out. Now awaken and do what is right for the world.
She gently put her right hand on Ganyu's own left, ending the dream with words of confidence to her savior.
I will be waiting for you. Shall you succeed in your mission? Good luck, brave one. Suddenly, a surge of ice-cold energy entered her, traversing her body like a slithering serpent all the way to her head. Then, upon the ice-laced snake touching her psyche in her dream self's head, a weightlessness took over her body, and in a flash, she opened her eyes back to reality. She opened her eyes back to reality. Small little pause here.
Okay, let's get all this shit out. Shorten that by quite a bit, maybe about right here.
Sunlight blinded Ganyu's vision upon her wake, having remembered her dream and now clear objective detail.
Equalization.
Sunlight blinded Ganyu's vision upon her wake, having remembered her dream and now clear objective detail for detail. She raised her head from her pillow and onto her feet, following with getting dressed and making her way to where her mother awaited her every morning. As expected, Rajora was seated and savoring herself with a fresh pot of herbal tea out in the courtyard, taking subtle sips in wait for her daughter's arrival. The sound of Ganyu's footsteps caught her attention instantaneously, having hearing as sharp as a sewing needle. Having hearing as sharp as the tip of a sewing needle. She turned to the sight of her grown child, and upon one look of Ganyu's face, immediately knew something wasn't right. Being the mother she was, she approached her daughter with concern and addressed her clear worry. "Ganyu, is everything okay?" she asked. Ganyu wasn't surprised her mother had caught on faster than she could have even addressed it, never having been the best at cloaking her emotions from sight. "I'm fine, Mother," she assured, following with a brief explanation of why she was actually troubled. "However, I'm sorry to say that I must leave today. Seeing something major has come up in relevance. To our war against Nesnaya." Rajora raised an eyebrow, but she also could tell that Ganyu was being serious. Just by the tone of her voice. Slow down, sweetie. Rajora stated. What has happened to cause this sudden decision? Rajora stated. What has happened to cause this sudden decision? Well, to put it in a simple way, I learned a horrid truth about who I thought was our enemy. Ganyu explained. A truth that has changed everything about this war. Ganyu then followed by explaining her encounter with the true form of the Tsaritsa, making sure to include everything critical to the matter. At the end of it, Rajora was shaken and horrified to her core. She would have never thought such a vile and petrifying truth could exist. and she didn't even assume that it could have been a nightmare. Ganyu had told her of her epiphany prior to her arrival at the Peaks of Serenity, and from the way the encounter with the Sarita had been described, Rijora didn't doubt that this phenomenon her daughter had witnessed was something of a similar nature. There's no doubt in my mind that what you experienced wasn't just a nightmare, Rijora assured. The Qilin who passed the trial gained stronger spiritual strength, and that strength pertains to archons as well. Therefore, I have full confidence that you did indeed speak with the truth. Saritsa, and believe that everything she told you is true. My heart yearns for the poor girl, God or not. So,
I think that needs to be pitched. So let's pitch it. Yep. It's too low.
Told you is true. My heart yearns for the poor girl, God or not. So, you agree that it's best I leave to relay all of this to my comrades? Ganyu questioned. Of course I do. Rijora answered clearly. While I would rather have you train a little longer, the fate of the world is more important than that. Ganyu nodded with a smile. Thank you, Mom. Ganyu thanked happily. I promise that we will not be apart for long this time. I know, dear, Rijora said warmly. I'm so proud of the strong and beautiful woman you've become.
Oops.
I'm so proud of the...
Nope, I pitched it. Whoops-a-doodle. I need to do this.
I'm so proud of the strong and beautiful woman you've become, and always have been. Ganyu smiled again, walking up to her mother and embracing her in a tight and warm hug. Rijora returned the gesture, and after a long minute of saying goodbye, Ganyu ran off to gather her belongings. And started the long trip back to the gates. Of Mondstadt.
R. All right, chapter 27 done. All right, export is MP3. TBOIAL chapter 27 clean. Yeah. All right. That wasn't too bad. I thought that one was going to be a lot longer, if I'm being completely honest. $27, $28. How long is this one? Oh, it's only 2,000 words. I can do that pretty quickly. That's not going to be that long of a chapter. How long have I been at this? But 2.5 hours. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. I think we can do another chapter. Only 2,000 words. That's not that much. That's like an equivalent of about, that comes out around 10 minutes. As you can see, we are getting close to the end. We are starting to near the end. Because I don't know how long it's going to be, honestly. Like, when I started this, I didn't know, like, really where it was going to go and all that lovely stuff. But this one is getting close to the end. Okay. Let's double check it just to be absolutely sure everything is fine. I think it should be okay, but you never fucking know. TBOIAL chapter 27. Of course, before we continue, I am going to take a little break. Don't know what that's going to be, but we'll see. Probably listening to music or something. So far, so good. That is a name. Hello, Yaman Khalif? 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 I don't know. Alright, let's double check to make sure this audio is good. Looks pretty good. That's towards the end, right? Yepers. Alright. I think we're good. I think we are good. Alright, but I'm going to take a break. I need a break. Not good to work myself to death. And if you're expecting a fancy stream setup, nope, that's not me. I am literally someone who is working on a 4 gigabyte RAM laptop with whatever I can do. Alright, let's see. We need... Can that fit? Yes. I am producing an audiobook. That's what I'm doing. Right now we're just in the cleaning stage. Okay, let's see. TBOIAL chapter 27. Only 30 minutes, so it's what, probably 12 megabytes at most. This has been a project that I've been working on ever since last year. I think it started in January, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go to my YouTube studio for that one. Content. It started last year. I know that for a fact. 1 year ago. So when was the first part put up? February 19th, 2023. So, yep, over a year. Yep, over a year. Almost a year and a month. Okay, 14.6. Okay. And this next chapter should be pretty short. Okay, good. Ah, shit, I should have just kept that open. Oh, well, it's fine. It's fine, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm gonna take a music break because I need a music break. Don't want to work myself to the bone. Actually, I could put some music on the background and actually post the chapters that I want to post. Because for some reason, I cannot do that on my phone for some goddamn reason. I don't know why, but it just doesn't want to work. Yep, right there. How loud is this? I don't need it 10 billion decibels loud. Just loud enough.
Can you?
Jesus Christ. That scared the shit out of me. Oh hey, a new Harmony
Mobile
Only
games
episode.
are going
Woohoo!
big. Play the official PC version.
Shut up. Alright. That'd be under fan fiction.
Wake the fuck up, Pegasi. We got a city to burn.
God, the pony puns. Come on. Alright, I need another lovely tab. Down to the ground. My flesh and bones, they take aside. On wings, but these feathers will never fly. So tear me down and build me up. Okay, I need to figure out what chapter I'm actually on first. I am on 26. So I need 28, 27, 28, and 29. Alright, let's Dock Manager. Okay. We need to make a new one. What comes after Gone Youth Trial? I forgot. There's a trial, then there's the encounter. Encounter. We need to go copy paste. I think it's story format, yep. Alright, I need 27, 28, 29, right? Yeah. Down to the ground. Play. My flesh and bones, they take aside. On wings, but these feathers will never fly. So tear me down and build me up. There we go. Alright, next one. What comes after that one? An unexpected. Actually, I'm just gonna call it the letter. Fuck that shit. The letter. Okay, we're on 28, right? Yeah. Okay, let me just fix this real quick. It's all my fault. I tried, but I lost every fight I fought. Time is up. Now you see the trail. All the trail lights. Eyes back to me. It's flesh and bone. They pay aside. On wings, but these feathers will never fly. So tear me down, build me up. Jesus Christ. Okay, it's in the right format. Yep. Try this song. Jack Prince Energy lyrics. I can't do anything copyrighted. That's not copyrighted music, that's why I can play it. Okay, last one. What was this one? Return to Summer City, I think is what it was called. Where is the one? I haven't touched it in a minute, so there it is. I really want to get some. Yeah, we'll just go for this. Control A, Control C. Okay, return to Summer City. Yeah, see? Yep, that's right. Alright. Now I need to go to manage. It's all the same. Cast the spell together. The more you look, the far away. We'll tell you that it's for the better. Plus new chapter. The encounter, right? Yeah. Hopefully that's right. You promise me. Okay, close new chapter. And after that one, the letter. Yep, that's the right one. Oh my gosh. Too soon. Oh my god. pursue, brew. Yeah. Where are you hiding?
Scrub the writing from the wall. Did we stand a chance at all? Now the night fades into day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all correct. Can't hurt to look. Okay, this one ends with her training, right? Yeah. Yep, that's correct. Okay, just make sure everything's okay. Yep. Yep, that's correct. And the last one, right? Hello? Oh, there it goes. Yep. Okay, that's done. Go to show 'em what you got. In a town called Camelot, you got a rep to keep. Cause the uptown never sleeps. It's so nice to see you. It don't mean shit to me. Don't mean shit to me. You got something to say. Well, spit it out. Go watch your tongue. I'm not just anyone. No, no, no. I love this song. Alright. Alright, that's done. Okay. Now we just need to... Right? This is 27, so now we need 28. Yep. TBOIAL, chapter 28. Shit to me. This is gonna be a short one. 2,000 words equates to what, like 10 minutes? I guarantee I could learn that. Alright. Okay. What comes after this? Holy War? No, Friends with High Places. We'll get back to work after this. Oh my god. No, no, no. Alright. I swear it was Holy War. Apparently not. Alright, anyways. Let's get back to work, shall we? Alright, so This looks just like a bunch of nothing.
Okay, that's better.
Yep. Alright, so let's go ahead and just get rid of all this. Do what we usually do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 seconds in. Boom.
The site of Dawn Winery came into Ganyu's view, having traveled miles upon miles to meet back up with one of her fellow comrades. Along the way back, she'd pondered on making this detour to fill... Along the way back, she'd pondered on making this detour to fill the... She'd pondered on making this detour to make... Fuck! She'd pondered on making this detour to fill D-Luke in on the new course of...
Okay, hang on. I need to zoom in a little bit. Think that's a fuck up.
Along the way back, she'd pondered on making this detour to fill the... She'd pondered on making this
Okay, let's see if that might work.
Along the way back, she'd pondered on making this detour to make... Fuck! She'd pondered on making this
I forgot about that.
She'd pondered on making this detour to fill D-Luke in on the new course of action, seeing if they were going to infiltrate the Zeppel-Yarny Palace, D-Luke would need to be aware. He had eyes in the Cryo capital right now, and was easily her and Kuching's best ally in terms of information on their enemy's status. With this new information, he'd have to alert his spies to obtain more critical information before they started the long trip to the borders of Snezhnaya. They had...
Wait, did I fuck up there?
With this new information, he'd have to alert his spies to obtain more critical information before they started the long trip to the borders of Snezhnaya.
Nope.
They had to be sure of any potential factors that could... They had to be sure of any potential factors that could impact...
Pull that back.
They had to be sure of any potential factors that could impact their plans.
That's
and that
plosive.
started with proper surveillance.
That's also plosive. Alright, let's see. We need... Yep, it's on the right one. Okay.
Started with proper
Right there.
And that started with proper surveillance. Ganyu's nerves danced at the thought of the likely near future, seeing this mission would be the most important with no room for failure whatsoever. They'd have to be ready and willing to fight to their last breath against anything the doctor would throw at them. And that meant potentially losing allies she had come to care dearly about. And that meant potentially losing allies she had come to care dearly about. And that meant...
Yep. Okay, there was a plosive.
And that meant potentially losing allies she had come to care dearly about.
There we go.
And that meant potentially losing allies she had come to care dearly about.
Oh.
However, she'd brushed away those thoughts, seeing that wasn't anything set in stone yet, so she instead focused on her objective at the moment. She walked up onto the foundation of the building and pushed open the doors that led to the inside of the winery. The inside was the same as always, the marble floor reverberating every step she took past the foyer and into the main room. She hadn't been surprised not to see D-Luke or Kuching, both being busy bees in the current war against Snezhnaya. She was quickly noticed and approached by one of the main maids that worked to keep the building...
Pull that back.
She was quickly noticed and approached by one of the main maids that worked to keep the building clean and maintained. "Welcome back, Miss Ganyu," she greeted nicely. "Thank you," Ganyu replied in the same manner. Are Kuching or Sir D-Luke here at the moment?
Pull that back.
Are Kuching or Sir D-Luke here at the moment? I'm afraid not.
Shit.
I'm afraid not. Well, fuck me in the ass. I'm afraid not. Both were alerted to Mondstadt early this morning and haven't been back since.
There we go.
Ganyu felt a spark of curiosity flicker in her soul. Really?
Okay, pull that back.
The fact her company had used the word alerted had made her slightly anxious, seeing it seemed to imply that something of great importance or hazard had occurred. Do you know exactly what they were called away for? Oh, do you know exactly what they were called away for? Do you know exactly what they were called away for? She questioned with a slight tinge of worry.
Pull that back.
She questioned with a slight tinge of worry.
All right.
I don't. But I could tell you.
Pull that back. Bring that back.
I don't. But I could tell by their demeanors and actions prior to leaving that it was indeed something important. Okay. The maid explained. It's probably best that you head to
Bring that back.
and actions prior to leaving that it was indeed something important.
That's a close.
The maid
get out there.
Indeed something important. The maid explained. It's probably best that you head to Mondstadt as well. Seeing, I can also tell that you are here for something important.
Okay.
Ganyu just nodded.
Pull it back.
Ganyu just nodded as an answer, too worried to explain anything about her encounter with the Tsaritsa. I'll head there straight away. Ganyu.
Okay, I'm not ready yet.
Ganyu just nodded as an answer, too worried to explain anything about her encounter with the Tsaritsa. I'll head there straight away. Ganyu assured. Thank you for your assistance. No problem. It's what I'm here for. The maid finished. Then, with a smile, Ganyu turned and took her leave towards Mondstadt. Once she'd Ganyu turned and took her leave towards Mondstadt.
Okay.
Once she'd exited the building, she had shifted her pace.
Okay, bring that back.
Once she'd exited the building, she had shifted her pace into a run, enhancing her speed with the use of her new abilities. The journey from Dawn Winery to Mondstadt would likely take a long 30 minutes, but with her new speed, it only took 5.
Pull that back.
Would usually take a long 30 minutes, but with her new speed, it only took 5. She met the bridge in no time and entered the city's inner borders to the sight of many men and women working on the buildings that had been demolished by the androids.
Are you serious? Sorry. Okay, I don't know where I retook that. Probably all the way back here.
She met the bridge in no time and entered the city's inner borders to the sight of many men and women working on the buildings that had been demolished by the androids.
Yep.
It was a familiar view to her eyes, having been filled in on the siege by Kuching along their travel to the peaks of Serenity.
Okay. Bring this back a little bit.
Having been filled in on the siege by Kuching along their travel to the peaks of Serenity, and seen the civilians reconstructing their homes as she'd passed the civilians reconstructing their homes as she'd passed the gate during her last departure.
Yep, we got it.
Their homes as she'd passed the gate during her last departure. It was a sign of hope and no.
Okay, let's shut that up. Pull this back.
It was a sign of hope and no. It was a sign of hope and strength. It was a sign of hope and strength in a time of tragedy and grief.
Okay.
It was a sign of hope and strength in a time of tragedy and grief.
Pull that back.
It was a sign of hope and strength in a time of tragedy and grief, and that warmed Ganyu's heart. The people of Mondstadt are strong and carry an unlimited amount of hope, and that is what they needed in the midst of war. It was the only thing that could keep Tevat from the brink of extinction, and as long as the people of it, I can't find my place, and as long as the people of it were willing to,
There's a plosive right here somewhere.
and as long as the people of it were willing to show no signs of, and as long as the people of it were willing to show no signs of surrender, Tevat would remain alive and well.
All right.
As she met the fountain between Good Hunter, no, as she met the fountain in between Good Hunter and the local marketplace, as she met the fountain between Good Hunter and the local marketplace, a local she hadn't expected to see approached her in a local she hadn't expected to see approached her in very high spirits of her presence.
I think that's correct.
A local she hadn't expected to see approached her in very high spirits of her. A local she hadn't expected to see approached her in very high spirits of her presence.
We're good.
Amber was like gruffy. Miss Ganyu! What a coincidence! Oh, Miss Ganyu? What a coincidence! Let me turn that down a little bit. Miss Ganyu? What a coincidence!
Okay, pull that back. I need to turn these down a little bit. -2. That should do the trick.
Miss Ganyu? What a coincidence!
Much better.
There we go.
Okay, pull that back.
The voice of Outrider Amber spoke amongst the ruined buildings. Upon turning...
Oh.
The voice of Outrider Amber spoke amongst the ruined buildings.
I think my game was way too high.
Upon turning her gaze towards the farthest wall past the fountain, she met the sight of the red-clad archer that adorned 2 practical bunny ears. She was wearing a bright smile and appeared to be setting off somewhere, her bow in her right fist evident enough to be an indication. Ganyu smiled...
Okay. Back.
Ganyu smiled as well, walking up to meet her fellow comrade.
Okay.
It's good to see you again, Miss Amber. Ganyu greeted.
Ay.
Where?
A lot of this volume is going to be toned down when we get to the EQ.
It's good to see you again, Miss Amber. Ganyu greeted. Where are you headed? Where are you headed? Where are you headed?
Do you want I think I kind of like the first take better. Let's do something like this.
I was actually heading out to get you. Seeing something major came up this morning. As of this morning. Seeing something major came up as of this morning.
Pull that back.
Seeing something major came up as of this morning. Amber answered. I see. Amber answered. I see. If I may, what exactly happened that caused such measures to be taken? That's probably best said elsewhere. So please follow. That's probably best said elsewhere.
Control-R. Oh wait, that's amplify. Let's see. We need this. Okay, I need to.
That's probably best said elsewhere. So please follow me to the Knights of Favonia's headquarters so we can discuss further with the others. All right, lead the way. Amber obliged, turning back to the direction of the upper district of the turning back in the direction of the upper district of Mondstadt City. Turning back in the direction of the upper district of Mondstadt City. Along the way, all Ganyu could do was ponder about what had come up that's so important. All Ganyu could do was ponder about what had come up that's so important to cause such actions to be taken. Her curiosity burned for an answer, but rather than giving herself a headache, she just decided to be patient.
Let's get that out.
Decided to be patient.
See if I can get that a little bit more.
Patient.
Okay, let's pull this back a little bit more.
But rather than giving herself a headache, she just decided to be patient.
Oh.
She was at the intended...
Smart.
But rather than giving herself a headache, she just decided to be patient. She was at the intended destination in no more than a minute, having entered and worked her way into Jean's office with Amber's guidance. Upon entering, she was met with the sight of many familiar faces, but the first to catch her eye was her beloved's. Likewise, Kuching had met Ganyu's own eyes, and as a gesture of love and reunion, she had run up to Ganyu and wrapped her arms tightly around her.
Okay, pull that back.
She had run up to Ganyu and wrapped her arms tightly around her. With no hesitation, Ganyu had returned the sentiment, allowing Kuching's warmth to embrace her body and radiate her happiness that they were together again after so long.
Let's see if that might work.
Allowing Kuching's warmth to embrace her body and radiate her happiness that they were together again after so long. While they didn't want to let go of one another, they knew the matter at hand was more important. Therefore, they released their hold from one another and allowed the others to speak. That was fast. Yelan stated, standing on the left side of the room with her arms crossed. Amber quickly followed with Let's
get that out.
Amber quickly followed with explaining why her trip had
This was ridiculous.
Amber quickly followed with explaining why her trip had been cut much shorter than it usually would take. I just happened to meet her in the city as I was leaving. That's a blessing, seeing that saves us all a lot of time. I agree. Jean added, considering the I agree. Jean added, considering the matter at hand, it's best we not waste time and get it resolved quickly. I apologize for being so impatient, but what has happened to cause this? Ganyu jumped in, having grown too curious about the situation. Jean turned her gaze towards Diluc just off to her right side, to which Diluc answered with his own comment. Perhaps it's best if you just see for yourself, Miss Ganyu. He answered, following with him reaching into one of his inner coat pockets and pulling out a neatly folded up piece of paper. From the look of it, Ganyu assumed it to be a letter of some sort. She didn't hesitate. She didn't hesitate and took it from Diluc. And upon unfolding the paper, Ganyu's eyes bulged instantly at the sight of it. At the top was the stamp of a snowflake and the emblem of the Zeppel Yarny. And the emblem of the Zeppel Yarny Palace. the stamp of a snowflake as the emblem of the Zapolyarny Palace. Things she was all too familiar with due to her original occupation. Things she was all too familiar with due to her original occupation as the head secretary of the Qixing. The paper in her grasp was in. The paper.
Come on. Itch.
The paper in her grasp was an. The paper in her grasp was an official document. The paper in her grasp was an official document that had been forged by the Tsaritsa herself. In her grasp was an official document that had been forged by the Tsaritsa herself.
All right.
Dear government officials of Mondstadt, I forged this letter as a proposal of a truce between Snezhnaya and all fellow I forged this letter as a proposal of a truce between Snezhnaya and all fellow capitals beyond.
And so right there. I don't know if that's part of it or not.
Between Snezhnaya and all fellow capitals beyond. I have come to an understanding that my forces cannot continue to collide with your own without the result of hundreds of losses, which has led me to the conclusion of cordially inviting those who are involved to Zapolyarny Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further conflict between both parties. Who are involved to Zapolyarny Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further. Those who are involved to Zapolyarny Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further. Yarny Palace to participate. To Zapolyarny Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further conflict between both parties. Your compensation of your. Participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further conflict between both parties. In the signing of a treaty to cease any further conflict between both parties. Palace to participate in the signing of a Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further. Palace to participate in the signing of a treaty to cease any further conflict between both parties. Your compensation of your losses in this war. No. Your compensation for your losses in this war will be discussed in the action of our discussion of making peace. I will await your response before proceeding any further actions. I will await your response before proceeding with any further actions on my part. Yours truly, Her Majesty, the Tsaritsa. Ganyu wanted to rip the letter into millions of pieces. Her blood boiling. Her blood boiling at the idea of just making peace with a witch that had taken everything from her in one night. She struggled to hold herself from destroying the document, stating her answer with her raw emotions clear as day. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Where are we? Here we go. Is she serious? After destroying mine, Yelan, and Kuching's home and lives, she thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? She can take this proposal and shove it. She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? Just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness?
Okay, I need to make sure I get this correct.
She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness.
A little too close, but right there. Let's see if that might work.
She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness?
Hang on. There's another sound in there.
She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? She thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold...
Let me see if I can get that out.
And hold her hand... And...
Let's see if that might work.
Simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness?
That's fair.
She can take this proposal and shove it. I refuse to... We'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? She can take this proposal and shove it. I refuse to just pretend... Her hand in forgiveness? She can take this proposal and shove it. I refuse to just pretend that Leeway's harbor I refuse to just... I refuse to just pretend that Leeway Harbor's destruction can just be easily forgotten with the signing of a treaty. That Leeway Harbor's destruction can just be easily forgotten with the signing of a treaty.
Okay, let's see if that sounds good altogether.
Is she serious? After destroying mine, Yelan, and Kuching's home and lives, Is she serious? After destroying mine, Yelan, and Kuching's home and lives, she thinks we'll just simply sign a paper and hold her hand in forgiveness? She can take this proposal and shove it. I refuse to just pretend that Leeway Harbor's destruction can just be easily forgotten with the signing of a treaty.
Okay. Holy guacamole. Luke. Good. Good. Then we are all on the same page. Luke added with a nod of his head. None of us are in agreement after all she's done, Miss Ganyu. A sudden warmth gripped... A sudden warmth gripped Ganyu's left arm, causing her to jump in surprise. Upon eyeing the hand gripping her, she saw it was Kuching's, coming back to reality and calming down. She lowered her arms and took deep breaths, addressing her behavior after a good amount of time.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone.
She apologized.
I'm sorry, everyone.
She apologized.
Don't be sorry, hun.
Yelan answered. We all reacted exactly the same, and all of our anger is warranted, seeing that bitch has caused too much damage to just be forgiven with the signing of a paper. Ganyu nodded, still recovering from the emotions currently flooding her mind. What the hell was that? It's like a snapping of a bone. Ganyu nodded, still recovering from the emotions currently flooding her mind like a tsunami. Only after she'd managed to calm down did she realize why she had come there in the first place. She gasped. That is one of the hardest words to freaking enunciate.
She gasped, quickly addressing the true enemy they should be scolding. No, you're wrong, Miss Yelan. Ganyu answered, causing the entire room to jump in complete shock. However, upon her next words, it became clear to all why she had answered the way she had. It became clear to all why she had answered the way she had. The Tsaritsa is not our enemy, but the harbinger known as the Doctor. She then followed by explaining everything, every occupant becoming awestruck the further she explained. When she finished, not everyone had the same conclusion. To some, they speculated it as nothing more than a figment of her imagination. While others didn't deny her new abilities as a Qilin. While others didn't deny her new abilities as a Qilin to decipher a dream from a reality. Even with enhanced abilities, what you saw could have easily just been a trick of the mind. Yelan stated, I do believe what you're saying, but we have to be certain if what you saw was reality or a creation of your psyche before we go storming into a battle we may not be able to win. Diluc. I have to agree to that as well. I have to agree as well. Seeing there is a chance it could have been fiction. Diluc added, I have to agree as well. Seeing there is a chance it could have been fiction. Diluc added, like Miss Yelan, I do not think you are lying, Miss Ganyu. It's just best that we play our cards wisely rather than recklessly. Ganyu couldn't disagree, seeing their speculation was...
Oh shit, what was that?
Ganyu couldn't disagree, seeing their speculation was understandable. While she was pretty certain that what had happened was something real, there was a chance that she could also be wrong. I understand. Is there any way to find out the real truth?
Jesus Christ.
I understand. Is there any way to find out the real truth? I understand. Is there any way to find out the real truth? I understand. Is there any way to find out the real truth? Ganyu questioned, turning her gaze to... I understand. Is there any way to find out the real truth?
I kind of like that take better.
Ganyu questioned, turning her gaze to Mona specifically. If anybody in the room knew anything about dreams or visions, it would be her, seeing she experienced something very similar. Mona caught Ganyu's gaze and quickly acted on it. Hey, while I had that one experience, I have no sort of experience with dream delving. Reading someone's fate or destiny is much more different than delving into their psyche. That is much more complex and dangerous, and I'm afraid a reading wouldn't do any good to determine reality from fiction either. Oh, for God's sakes! And I'm afraid a reading wouldn't do any good to determine reality from fiction either. Ganyu nodded in understanding, returning to her thoughts in hopes for an answer to their current predicament. However, no such answer came, up until Yelan suddenly spoke up from out of nowhere. I just thought of something, and I believe I may have a solution. Ganyu was sold, curious on what her comrade had in mind. What do you have in mind, Miss Yelan? Ganyu questioned.
Get that out.
What do you have in mind, Miss Yelan? Ganyu questioned. In my travels to the other nations, I met the Dendro Archon Lesser Lord Kusanali, and in the little time we spoke, I learned that she has abilities related to dreams. Perhaps she could assist in figuring out the truth. Ganyu believed her, knowing she had no reason to lie, and given it was an Archon, there was a heavy chance that she was right. Then I suppose it's time to make another trip to Sumeru to get this figured out, right? Then I suppose it's time to make another trip to Sumeru to get this figured out? Ganyu guessed. You took the words right out of my mouth. Yelan confirmed. Considering we've made an alliance with Sumeru, this shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Then it's probably best that you get moving. Diluc added, if this actually turns out to be true, then we need to come up with a plan and unleash hell on the doctor as soon as possible. If this actually turns out to be true, then we need to come up with a plan and unleash hell on the doctor as soon as possible. Agreed. Yelan answered. Well, oh god. Well, girls, ready to head back to the jungle for a second time? Kuching and Ganyu both nodded. Kuching and Ganyu both nodded with a smile, Yelan walking over to their side of the room in preparation to depart. Please, stay safe in your journey, and good luck to all of you.
Okay, control. Just double checking. Controller.
Please, stay safe in your journey, and good luck to all of you. Jean said as a goodbye. Don't worry, we will. Yelan answered. Then, with a turn of the doorknob, the three ladies started out of the Knights of Favonia's headquarters in pursuit for the sanctuary of Surasthana in Sumeru City.
Alright. I think that is it. If the length is long enough, that is. Because I'm not sure how long this is going to be. Export audio. Alright. No. 28. Clean. I really don't feel like EQing these right now because that's just a little too much work. Don't want to overwork myself too much. 3 hours, 3 yeah, that's pretty good for now. I really don't want to do the EQing right now. It's just a little too much. That's a lot of work. We got not only a chapter fixed, but we also got 2 other chapters on top of that. So I think that's good work for one day. So I might get back to this tomorrow. I don't know. It all depends. So let's go upload this to our drive. Double check it. Actually, let's just double check it now. Yeah, I knew that one wouldn't take that long. It's only 2,000 words long. That's why I assumed yeah, let's just get this one done. Because it's not going to take that long. Import audio. Eight. Is 27 done? Yes. Okay. Okay. Well, just from looking at it, it looks fine. Just looking for any weird spacing, any abnormal like occurrences, stuff like that. That's what we're looking for. Yep, everything looks fine. All right, we're good. All right, let's go upload to the drive. And then I think we're just gonna call it there. Too much work. But hey, I'm glad I'm back to work because it felt bad not giving you guys anything for fucking February. That bugged the shit out of me. And I know I've got like an injured toe right now and all that lovely shit, but I still want to make content. The toe issue is kind of sort of starting to sort out. Basically, I got 2 shots right in the freaking joint where it is. Oh my god. And so far, that has worked the best. It's a long-term thing, so I guess you have a shot every like 6 months or something like that. Doesn't sound like fun, but hey, if it's the answer, it's the answer. And I can handle it. I didn't even make one peep when they put the shots in my toe. Not one. I clenched my teeth and went like that because once you started moving it around the goddamn joint, yeah, that wasn't fun. Don't be sorry, you were all messed up and it's pretty okay. Hopefully February I'll have something for you to read. Hopefully February will have something for you to read. Well, this is what's coming out, so like I just don't think people understand. I'm not saying you. I'm saying a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into these and why it takes so long to put them out. Not to mention freaking 2024 just came boom, boom, boom. It just came with punch after punch after punch. Like, there's nothing I could have done about that. My grandma dies. Well, no. First, my uncle dies. Then the toe issue happens. Then my grandma dies. And the toe issue just keeps getting worse. So finally, we finally have found a solution and we're still recovering from my grandma's passing. I can, I want to work. I want to get shit done because I also hit writer's block a lot. So as you can see, it was very complex. It was like very like you had to think outside of the box kind of stuff. Well, looks like we're good for these 4 chapters. Let me just double check to see if I've got the 4 chapters. For some reason, my brain keeps saying no. Okay. Where did 25 go? There it is. 25, 26, 27, 28. Yep. So depending on how long these are all together, depends whether or not we're done or not. Because chapter 29 is as far as I am. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I want to thank you guys for just 9,000 subscribers. Dude, I never thought I'd make it past 100. Like, when I started my channel, I really thought I'll never fucking hit 100 in a million years. We're on our way to 10K. And I am absolutely just amazed that this is possible. But that's why I continue to make content, because I know you guys like it. I know there's people that, get entertainment out of it. There's people that, respect me as the creator. And I'm glad that a lot of people are being understanding about what the fuck happened, because Jesus Christ. It was like being in a boxing ring and getting hit by a boxer while you're still like trying to get back on your feet. Until they get the weird expectations the audience put on creators and saying they're as human as the rest of us, unless I'm missing something. My audience is actually really understanding, but I still like to let them know, hey, I feel bad for not putting things out for you guys. I just want you guys to know, I do enjoy making content for you. And me missing a month, that bugs the shit out of me. Because I've been consistent for the most part, like trying to get at least one reading out per month, because that's all I can handle. Like producing 2 parts of this per month would be insane. Like, it may not look like a lot, but it is. It's a lot. The writing process is the long part, because I have to write it and get it out. From there, it's all just a matter of producing. That's the easy part. Well, I wouldn't say the easy part, but the not so hard part. Then we just get to watch and see what Sparrow made. And I get to see it proudly and get to entertain you guys. But I'm glad my audience is like people that understand I'm human. I'm not some robot that can just constantly put out shit and do it over and over again. It's, I'm not as productive as I used to be back in 2016, like putting out a reading every day. That's because I have grown into a professional and I know what the hell I'm doing to make good content. Like, if I wanted to make content every day, I could perform raw audio, put a music track in the background, and not even have to worry about editing, putting the EQ in, all that lovely stuff. The only time you would ever see something like that for me is if I live streamed it. Because that's live. You can't edit it out. And I have done that before. I've done like readings of creepypastas live with my friends. And I really want to get back to something like that, because I miss like doing that shit with my friends. It's just been rough ever since the turn of the century. Or decade, excuse me. Turn of the decade. Like, ever since 2020, the world has just been... And it just feels like it's just going to shit. But I'm doing my best. I am just doing my best. Not to mention, this story is getting harder to come up with ideas for. Not because it's hard to come up with ideas, but because it's so complex. Like, I had to find a way to get to an ending. Otherwise, this could have went on forever. Like, I could have went on forever. And I was seriously, like, considering it, but I didn't even want to do that. Because then it would get kind of, I don't know, too drawn out. Like, this is easily the longest story I've ever written. Like, we're going into the 30th chapter. Like, that's nuts. But yeah, I've enjoyed making this. I've enjoyed writing it. It's what I've wanted to do. Like, I still love pony stuff, but it's not what I want to do right now. I even went back to film fiction for one day. I went back to I went back to film fiction just to look in the horror section, just to see if there was like a hidden gem. Nope. They were all like very, very cliche, very terrible. So I'm like, nope, we're just continuing with the Bonding of Ice and Lightning. So let's just keep going. But I appreciate you guys understanding, I do have an injury. Death is something that is not easily forgettable. You can't just get back up on your feet immediately. Like, you can't hear the call and then be like, okay, I'm all better now. No. I have... And my coping mechanism, like, I'll be completely honest with you. When I went to the funeral, I bawled. Not even the funeral, the freaking viewing. Because we went down, what was it, like a day before the funeral? And I saw my grandma in the casket, and that is like the thing with funerals for me. When you see the person in the casket and they look exactly like I'd see them in real life, you're just waiting for them to open their eyes and jump out. Like, it's a surreal, like, experience. Like, it doesn't feel real. But when I finally cried is when I kissed her on the forehead, and I felt that coldness. When I felt that cold touch, boom, everything just came out instantly. Not to mention at the funeral, I had a hard time holding it in constantly. Like when I got up to speak, I almost lost it again because reminiscing about the days with my grandma, those are just days I wish I could get back, man. Or not get back, but go back and relive, because those were the days. Those were the days when we were just free, dumb kids running around and hanging out. Just no drama, no bullshit, none of this adult nonsense. We just got to run around and drink soda all day. We had fun. But yeah, then I had to basically carry her to the grave. And, I'm not supposed to be doing heavy lifting with my toe, but I didn't care. It didn't antagonize my toe too bad, and it wasn't that far to carry her, so it didn't hurt that bad. But, yeah, once it was all over, my toes started to flare up again. Then we went to the doctor, and the first doctor was a bitch. Or not a bitch, but a dumbass. His name was literally Dr. Dix. I'm not joking. This was his actual name, Dix. The second doctor, because the guy, quit on the next day. I'm not kidding you. That's why my appointment had to be held out to the 11th. I was supposed to see him next week, then I held out to the 11th. So, the next doctor, Dr. Funk is his name. Oh my god, these fucking names. Jesus. But this guy, yeah, he's a really good doctor. He has a lot of bedside manners. He is informative. He lets you know, what's what and what's going to happen. He was very, easy with the needle. He let me know everything. He was very informative, very intelligent. It felt like a real doctor that actually gave a shit. But yeah, that shot didn't feel good. I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's something I can handle. It's not that bad. You don't know pain until you've had brain surgery. Brain surgery is the absolute worst because I literally sat in a bed for 9 days with my head open. Hundreds of lead wires going into my head and open. Luckily wrapped, otherwise staph infection. But yeah, it's the worst headache you can imagine. If you are, if the pain medication runs out, you are in some serious pain. It's the worst headache you can absolutely imagine. But hey, it had to be done. Keep in mind, I was only 12 when that happened. So I was young. But yeah. But I'm just glad people are understanding and actually understand, I have emotions and shit's going on right now. But I'm doing my best. In my free time, I try to just get to where I could write for you for the next edition. And, any other time I'm playing games or talking to friends, I'm just doing my best to take it easy. But thank you for understanding. I really do appreciate it. And while I'm not as productive as I was, but it's because I want to give you guys high quality content, the best that I can make. So, that's the reason. But thank you for continuing to be patient, continuing for you to be for being continuously supportive. I really appreciate it. And until next time, yep, I'm out. I gotta go eat. I gotta go relax. And I'll see y'all later.